Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Legends video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at basically the performance of the Rage Shenron unit. Now this guy has largely been considered and praised as one of the best support units, especially sparking support units, sparking units, to come out in a while. I think a lot of people are comparing him to the Pan, so the Red Pan, who obviously has kind of stood the test of time, still facilitating a lot of really strong Hybrid Saiyan, Son family, movie heroes teams. And I think Rage Shenron, people feel, will be kind of similar. So he's definitely a very, very strong unit. A lot of people are running him on GT, Regen, basically any kind of team that they can run him on, they're running him on. Which I think is fine. I think it's always good to have situations where you have units, especially sparkings, that can be very good, especially from a utility point of view, because what it means is, yes, okay, maybe they become essential or people get a bit confused as to why sparking becomes so good. But the thing is it enables a lot of teams continuously when you have some of these static units that players can get their hands on and boost relatively easily. Legends Limiteds are kind of lower rarity, having good general pool banner sparkings helps out a lot. So I think for me, definitely really good. Now, let's talk a little bit about him. So let's start with his passives and talk about that, because I think that's where you get a lot of obviously the shine from, but a lot of his kit is just really, really good, especially in the current meta. So basically, to cut a long story short, what we have is we have good old paralysis, we have reduction of ki, we have a lot of really strong stuff that's good in the current meta. So let's start with his passive. So obviously 100% of damage inflicted, that's all good. He's got reduces damage received by 70%, making him quite tanky, -10 to own blast and special moves cost, and plus 25% of damage inflicted by allies. So right off the bat we can kind of see that immediately he's feeling really, really strong. That ability to give allies additional damage is always huge. When he enters the battlefield, he restores his own ki, which is huge. He also has 50% of damage inflicted, and he increases his art squad draw speed, so that fits into the current meta. Combo speed is huge. If you don't have at least +1, you are going to feel very slow in the current meta. When you switch to standby, you draw 1 card when you have 3 or fewer. He shortens his own substitution count. He restores ally ki. He gives plus 15% to ally damage. He reduces enemy ki, and he flicks all enemies with an attribute downgrade to their damage performed. So that's kind of the big thing with him. It's actually not to leave him out on the field for a super long period of time. It is actually honestly to take advantage of the fact that switching him out hinders your enemy a ton. Your enemy has to then deal with a lot. So your enemy has to deal with a lot of struggle with ki damage increase for all your key crucial units. So yeah, it is. It's very, very, very hectic. What happens. So then obviously onto the second passive. So when this the following effects occur when enemies tap shuttle blast attack or blast arts attack while this character is on the battlefield. So he restores his health by 10%, which is huge. And then of course he also nullifies unfavorable element factors, which is huge. And he shortens ally substitution counts. So again, giving him the ability to heal up off of the enemy, shorten the substitution counts, get that rotation happening. So he shortens his own substitution count and shortens your ally substitution counts when he's on the field, which means you can switch out more often, which means you can continue to buff the rest of your team and hamper your opponent's ki. When the enemy hits him with a tackle or a quick attack or a strike, he reduces their ki, inflicts paralysis on them guaranteed, and then has a 25% chance to inflict paralysis afterwards. So also, again, annoying. Paralysis is a very strong mechanic, so him constantly having these ways to inflict paralysis is huge and very irritating. When the enemy's attack is over, he restores his health, restores 30% of the damage received his health, and then also applies a buff effect that nullifies enemy change cover. So he's good at getting beaten up as well. His main ability, he draws a guaranteed special arts card, restores ally health and ki, cancels enemies buffs, destroys all your enemies' cards, reduces their Dragon Balls, and seals their main abilities. So he's sealing main abilities, he's reducing Rising Rush capabilities, he's reducing Ki, he's paralyzing, he's healing, and he's buffing your team. Feels very, very broken for a support, and the thing is it kind of is. Right now he's causing a ton of problems. I'd probably say almost as much as Omega Shenron's causing himself, but he is causing a ton of problems right now in the game for a lot of players, and it's just enabling teams to kind of go off crazily. Even when you consider the fact that you also have to consider that obviously, you know, the actual teams that he's on, GT, Regen, GT and Regen being the main ones, are some of the strongest ones in the game, which is really good. And of course, you can obviously use him as a lead if you really, really want to, so that kind of helps as well. So yeah, really, 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 really rough. Good unit, but really, really rough for a lot of players to deal with. Then his Ki blasts also reduce Ki. His special card restores his own Ki, draws a special arts card next, increases special damage, increases his own special move damage, and basically what happens is he can increase 50% to the next special move damage inflicted, which is very, very crazy. It also gives him a more paralysis chance, which is really crazy, and then also decreases his substitution time account, which is again really crazy. And then guess what? On his ultimate card, on his blue card, he increases blast damage inflicted by allies as well. So this guy is really, really nuts. If he hits with that, he also paralyzes, and then he also can destroy all the enemy's cards. So he is really just nuts. So hard to explain how difficult it is to play into him, and his typing is good. Yeah, his typing is good. Yellow helps him out a lot against obviously the latest Ultra. So yeah, I gotta be honest, he feels very, very, very strong. But at the same time, yeah, that kind of is what it is. So good luck to all of you playing against him. Bye.